At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than a life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent. Being there day and night, and building a plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lie.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Join Carl alongside frequent co-hosts Lisa Odie and Hollis Lewis as they explore dynamic conversations with guests from all walks of life. Let's Talk is proudly brought to you by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. Visit frankwalkerlaw.com. The conversation starts now. This is Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have my two co-hosts in the building today, Hollis Lewis.
Hello, hello.
Lisa Odie is here.
Hello.
And we are looking forward to a really good show tonight. We have the coach from Spring Valley.
Yep.
And I want to say this just so everybody knows. Everybody knows that I'm not really a basketball kind of guy. Not that I don't like it. I wasn't very good at it. But going to the Spring Valley game.
We're talking about the girls' game.
Yes, the girls' game.
Oh, that's right. You guys went.
Yes.
I didn't have a pass.
Whatever. One of the interesting things that I saw in the game was I loved the way that team worked.
Yeah.
Like they passed the ball, and I was like amazed. I'm tapping Hollis. I'm like, man, watch the way they, how many times do they pass the ball before they take a shot? And it didn't look selfish. It looked team oriented. It just looked so good. It impressed me so much. I was like, man, we need to get the coach on.
Yeah, for sure.
So without further ado, we will bring in Coach, and I don't know if he got to hear all of that information. That
I don't know if I need to talk now.
Coach Bo Miller from Spring Valley.
Coach, I just want to take my hat off, because I would tell you right now, I would love to play on a team that you coached, and I am curious to figure out, was it just a combination of the right mix of girls and the right system that you guys were able to literally teamwork? To me, I felt your teamwork beat the team. I think y'all just won the game solely on just teamwork.
Well, that's what basketball's supposed to be, isn't it? All five girls playing as one,
That's what that's what you think, anyway.
We need to hook you up with the NBA.
Well, with that question, Coach, let me ask
we
this.
don't let them watch the NBA.
Exactly.
That was going to be my question, Coach. When you look at professional basketball, or maybe even college basketball, and I don't know if this is a tough question for you or not, do you see it like the way that? Because it doesn't look like the way that you're coaching it or the way that your young ladies are playing it. It looks perfect the way your kids are playing it.
We like to model ourselves after the European way of playing basketball. That's where we get a lot of our stuff from.
Yeah, and
overseas basketball.
And just to let the audience know, Spring Valley girls, they won the Quad A championship against Morgantown this past Sunday. Coach, and we're talking to Coach Bo Miller, you were 23-2 this year, and you've been in the mix the last couple years. What put this team over the hump?
Well, I think we came back with a big chip on our shoulder for where we underachieved last year. All the girls thought last year should have been our year, and we got up here and we kind of laid an egg that first night, and they after that they put in the work and the time. They did have to sacrifice their own skills and their own personal goals for that one team goal. That's what they all strive for this year.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Coach. This is Lisa Odie. Thanks for being on the show tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Hey, so I have a question, and you guys just coming off that fresh championship in the girls basketball tournament. Something that they're talking about is the teamwork. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there to witness it, but I have seen some clips. So how do you assess the strengths and weaknesses of opposing teams? When you're developing a game plan for like a championship game.
Oh, it's a lot of scouting, a lot of film work. We played Morgantown earlier in the year, so we'd already scouted them several times. So a lot of preparation goes into it.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to add to it. So are there any times that you kind of have to to adjust your strategies when you see something that you weren't expecting from the other team? How do you handle that during a game?
Well, our girls are pretty basketball smart-wise, so when we have to make adjustments in the game, it's usually just a timeout, and we have to write it down to show them.
Sure.
Get them more exact how to go, but once they figure it out, it's pretty good. Our girls are pretty smart
and talented.
Yeah. and specifically with the game, Morgantown has some very skilled athletes as far as on that team. You had Jones, you had Kellogg. A couple of the girls, they are the daughters of WVU men's and women's basketball coach. So in trying to, as Lisa mentioned, develop that game plan to stop those skilled athletes, what thought went into that?
Well, I'm really glad that DeVry's got that job in Indiana. His daughter hit about 4 threes against us.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, we knew coming in that Kellogg and Jones would try to take over the game, and we just tried to take away their strength. And Kellogg's strength was getting to the basket, and Jones's strength was going to that left block.
Yep.
And we just sit on our left hand the whole game, and Drea Parker did not hardly get off her left hand the whole game. And then Sophie Hutchison just, kept Kellogg out in front of her, wouldn't let her get to the rim, and her game is getting to the rim, going to the foul line.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And when you're crafting that kind of a scouting report for a team, when did you look at it and say, oh gosh, this is really working? This is really hurting them? Because to me it looked like they were struggling, and it was like almost one-on-one type of situations every time the ball got on their end of the court.
Well, it helped when we pick, our post player usually doesn't really guard the other team's post player. She kind of just plays in the lane. And if that girl's not making shots, it makes our defense look a lot better when she can just stand in there. and that just happened to be that day that girl didn't make any shots. So she could stay in there, and she was helping.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than a life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent. Being there day and night, and building a plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Every time those girls would get to the lane, just clogging everything up.
And speaking of that post player, I believe her first name is Allie, number 34. She has such
Allie Daniels.
Allie Daniels. She has such a great game. To me, she was the MVP. I believe she had a double-double. She was making shots. She was getting rebounds. She was passing the ball, setting screens. She was doing just a little bit of everything for you guys on Sunday. So could you just tell us a little bit more about her?
Well, she's a double machine. She's she's got over 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds in 4 years, and that's nobody in our school has ever done that, and that's really a huge accomplishment. And it's just every game she's a rebounding machine. She may not always get double points, but her rebounds are. She's had 25 this year, maybe twice, and
wow,
it's every night. Every night's a double-double in rebounds.
And I know that's one thing that we've talked about in watching specifically women's basketball over the past year is just that I love it because it's not always pretty, but it's always gritty. Women's basketball, to me, is just what – it just looks like the basketball, at least that I grew up with. And you girls are scrapping. They're really – for lack of better words, going hard in the paint.
Well, that's what we're hoping it is anyway. I like the basketball of old. I'm not such a big fan of this new basketball. They sit out there and just chuck up threes all day. I'm not,
Yeah.
And for me,
old school.
And for me not to be a basketball player or even really necessarily a great basketball fan, I can't watch men's basketball because they're just shooting. And I loved, like, I'm nudging Hollis all the whole game, just like, man, did you see that? Because it was just like what I love about it, what I absolutely love about the women's game is they go hard from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's one thing about our team. We do go hard. It starts with Sophie Hutchison. She's like a Tasmanian devil out there. She goes hard the whole game. And gets everybody else going.
That's amazing.
Anybody got anything else?
Oh, I was just going to say, so Coach, how did you guys celebrate the big win as a team? Did you guys do anything special?
Well, we never won once. We really didn't know how to celebrate, and we're still not sure.
I like it.
I mean, we stopped and got something to eat, but we haven't really done anything big yet. We're up here. Our boys are playing tonight. We're up here at Civic Center
that's right.
Watch them play.
Okay, that's
probably
true.
After they finish, we'll probably have a big celebration somewhere.
And speaking of that, I mean, you guys could probably have a county celebration
Exactly.
because not only did Spring Valley win, but Wayne won, I believe, the AA championship. So you guys
Triple-A,
did AAA, the 3A championship. You won the Quad A championship. You guys did a clean sweep. So you might have a joint parade with everybody. If the boys win, that'd
Lots
be
of
crazy.
confetti.
Yeah. Wayne County is celebrating this week. That's
Yes,
for sure.
it is.
Oh, great.
Well, Coach, we just wanted to reach out to you, just give you your props and just to celebrate it. So we appreciate you coming on, and we'll be in touch with you again, I'm sure.
Well, I appreciate having you. Or you having me. Thanks.
All righty.
All
Thanks,
right,
Coach.
thank you so much.
Guys, like, and Lisa, I'm going to say this since you didn't get to see the game. I felt like a kid. I felt like maybe like I was at a Super Bowl or something like that. Like I was like totally enjoying what I was watching. I mean, it like opened my eyes. And I don't know, Hollis is probably comfortable with it. He's probably used to it. He goes to more games than I do. But I was totally impressed with them, man.
I mean, the women's game to me is just like I think we're at a space now where we can really appreciate it. And I think that it's separated itself from the men's game. Again, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean good or worse. I just mean it's a different game. It's not women's basketball, women's sports in general. They are no longer trying to mimic the men. They're in it to themselves.
They have their own brand.
They're in their brand, they're in their lane, and they're playing their game. So it's definitely something that I enjoy at all levels.
And it's refreshing. It's not something that you see, like you said, with the men's basketball, the NBA and their style of play. It's not, so much the emphasis on the three-pointer. Yeah. It's about the teamwork, the passing, the whole, just the sheer planning that goes into the plays from the coach and from the girls. I mean, it's not just go out there and throw up three-pointers and see what happens.
And you look at the three-point shot as the new normal shot.
Right.
These girls worked. They didn't work. You can just stand out there by the three-point. Like, they're cutting to the basket and getting passes, layups, and all of that. That's old school basketball. And
that's designed play.
Yeah, it's a designed play. It's like you got to play. Do you even think that in the NBA there's actually a play can get all the way through?
I would say so, and again, I wouldn't necessarily even call it. I know we're saying old school, but it's just watchable. It's just to the viewer, it's a better watchable game than I think what's being presented at some different levels.
It requires more discipline too, don't you?
A little bit more. Like I said, it's a total team thing. It's a team. It's not necessarily one player taking over.
Right.
I like that, Lisa. I like that term discipline because when you're talking about like teamwork, that discipline has to come into teamwork because the moment that you get in your own lane, you're taking the shot. I'm not passing it. I'm not finishing the play. I'm just going to take my shot every time I get the ball. So all right. So I have.
Uh-oh's right. It's been an interesting week in West Virginia.
Yes, it has.
Okay, so
well, let's set it up because for those who don't know, West Virginia WVU men's basketball, the tournament teams were picked on Selection Sunday, and WVU in a lot of people's mind got snubbed for UNC Tar Heels. So again, WVU didn't make the tournament. They got invited to the NIT. They didn't choose to go, so and I'll kick it off from there.
All right, first I'm gonna touch turning down any postseason.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Let's talk to we gotta talk to the beat first. You gonna play the clip?
Yeah, all right, let's play the clip and then we'll come back.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, it's embarrassing for an elected official to take the position that he's taken, literally calling for an investigation. You can complain, and he has legitimacy with his complaints, but to go this far and to really, really try to force an investigation, it's utterly ridiculous. It's childish, and you would like to think our elected officials have something better to do with their time on behalf of their constituency than something of this magnitude. Clearly, he does not. The bottom line is they were 19 and 13.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than a life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent, being there day and night, and building a plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
They were 10 and 10 in their own conference. And when they went into the Big 12 tournament, they lost the very first game of the tournament to last place Colorado. There is a rare occasion when it is justified to tell a politician, sit your ass down.
Whoa.
This is one of those situations. Sit your ass down.
Whoa.
This is not something that warrants an investigation.
All right.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a lot.
Okay.
So what do you want to start with?
I don't even know where to start.
Let's start with the actual press conference because let's just picture this, and I don't know if people actually saw the press conference, but there was a sign on the podium that literally said National Corrupt Athletic Association.
Yes.
This was a part of their news conference, Pat Moe and the AG, McCuskey. And basically what they said, it was, and I'm not making judgment, I'm stating facts
Hollis
right now, okay?
no
judgment, okay? Try not to judge anyway. But it was almost like out of a dramatic play. The things that came out of Patrick Morrisey's mouth. The things he said. This is an actual verbatim quote. Okay, part of the presser. West Virginia deserved to be in the tourney, and this was a miscarriage of justice and robbery at the highest levels. Yeah. Okay. They stopped short of saying they would file an actual lawsuit, but they were asking for information. That's what Stephen A. Smith is referring to. And what do you guys think?
Oh, well, okay. So here's the thing. All right. Now, again, I think that maybe...
I like when Hollis is this serious.
He's
and
so
again,
serious.
WVU It's a debatable question as to whether they deserve that slot over the Tar Heels in light of the AD of the Tar Heels being on the selection committee, which I will talk about later. That's problematic in and of itself.
Yes.
So again, you as the head of state, you as the head of the governor of the state of West Virginia, he should have said he was disappointed. He should have said all the things that somebody in his position should say in this circumstances. Now, you calling a press conference, you quote unquote launching an investigation in light of all the plethora of problems that the state of West Virginia currently faces is not a good thing.
And I'll go. It's not. It's not. Hollis.
It's just
totally
again,
on point.
make a tweet.
Do you even have to do that?
I think you do. You definitely do.
Yeah,
you definitely do.
To Hollis's
I
point,
don't remember other governors ever doing that
don't
when
either,
we've been left out
but-
of tournaments, Marshall or WVU, and it's happened in the past. It's not anything new. I mean, it's happened.
You're right, but if to the point, if you decide you're going to say something, right? To me, like state facts that are unquestionable. Like, look at your record. Look at the numbers.
Right.
Now, again, I get the whole North Carolina. You got a coach on the selection committee. Blah 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 blah. All that kind of stuff. But really, like, why would you come out? Like, why would you? I would want to say I'm disappointed because we were not part of, and leave it at that. What investigation are you going to do?
And that's the part. It's great politics. So you come out and you say, "Oh, I'm disappointed. We should have got in. This is unfair." And again, I've had my criticisms with the NCAA. I've had my criticisms. Everybody has, right? But you don't go that far.
Sign on the podium.
You're talking about lawsuits, investigations. We got stuff we need to handle here. We ain't got time for that right now. You come out, you say what you got to say, then you move about your day. Or heck, you ain't even got to say that. Make a tweet and move on.
I mean, and let's be factual about this part too. And Stephen A. Smith emphasized this, and I agree with him totally on this part. I mean, I do feel like there were the quad wins when the comparison, and quad wins are basically when you beat a ranked team, and you get and some people may not know that's why I'm throwing it out there, but you get so many points for if you beat the team at home or if you beat them on a neutral court, which I didn't realize this. And there's differences in points given for where they achieved the victory. But what I'm saying is, I know that there were differences. There were huge discrepancies between the quad wins with North Carolina and West Virginia. I think North Carolina only had like 1 and West Virginia had like 6 out of 10. Yeah. I get that. But the dagger and everything was when they went to the Big 12 tournament, they had a bye and they lose to the last place team. You just don't do that, especially when you're a bubble team.
But the Tar Heels didn't win that tournament. They
lost to Duke.
Yeah, they lost in like the first. Did they make the championship game?
I don't know how far they got.
They
did lose. Duke won it. Didn't Duke win?
No, they did win.
Okay, so that's a difference. Like West Virginia lost to Colorado. I mean that's and plus the way they were playing at the end of the season was not stellar. They were losing games, and they just didn't look like the same team as they did at the beginning of the year when they were beating quad teams.
Let me ask this question, okay? Let's just say that everything that he's stating is correct. Okay? Everything that he's saying, the coach for WVU everything that he's saying.
Talking about the governor?
I mean the governor.
Okay.
The governor.
Okay.
Everything that the governor is saying is legit. Okay? It's legit and it's meaningful. The question I ask is what prompted you to think that this would be something that you should come out with? And see, I'd be okay if the coach said it. I'd be okay if the AD said it.
Here's the thing, though. What he said is going to have legs with some people in light of the North Carolina Tar Heels AD being on the selection committee
and
receiving a bonus for them getting in and them getting in directly over WVU. See, I'm saying, like, he's playing politics here because some people going to that he's talking to his base. He's not talking to necessarily me and you.
Okay.
He's talking to his base, and his base is going to cheer that on, particularly when they find out that the UNC's AD is in that, or quote unquote, in the room, out the room. And that brings me to my other point. Why are ADs on the selection committee?
Amen.
And what I'm saying, you give credence to everything he just said in some people's minds.
Yes.
Why isn't there a selection committee, third party, directly non-affiliated, because you might be an alumni of somewhere, but you're not currently affiliated in a significant manner with the athletic program that can currently get in or get out of the tournament. It should be a total board, a body that's non-affiliated directly. Because everything he said in some people's mind is going to be like, he is 100% right. Look what happened.
But the next question is, and I think you're right, but I mean, the next question is, who would be on the committee? Who would you bring in to judge who gets in the tournament? Because then they're going to argue, well, they don't know what they're talking about. They're not a coach or an AD.
We bring in former players, former coaches, just
but they're
people,
still alumni, right?
I'm just saying somebody who's not actively
getting
involved.
paid.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it now.
What's interesting to me about this, and my argument with most of these sports decision-making processes, you don't know who's on the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, in most cases, you don't even know who's actually on these boards, who are making these decisions. I think, I would want I'd want to know who's on the board, who's making these votes, who's going to make these decisions.
Well, I think college football does it good because we know who's on the board, and they start having these discussions as the season's winding down. To your point, it needs to be an open process, we need to start tracking. Like, okay, this week is this week. This week is this discussion. This week, that week. And we can go from at least the middle of the season all the way to Selection Sunday we already kind of have an idea of how they're thinking about it.
Well, I was going to say, yes. To your point, I think as you look at this should be something that everybody, it's kind of almost visible who's going to be picked. Because of this, because of that. They won this game, they lost this game, they're going to be out. I think everybody ought to be able to sit and at home, if you choose to, follow your team and then try to figure out, okay, they're not going to get in.
Well,
or are they going to get in?
I think we kind of got that with the quad ones and all that sort of thing.
Right.
The problem is that the people in the room are too tied to the teams that can be chosen or not. You don't need to be the AD making a decision. You don't need to be AD of a university making a decision. And you don't.
I totally agree with that. But also you need to, it's kind of like what we've talked about before. You don't let referees win or lose a game for you. You basically need to go out there and win a couple of games in the Big 12 and they're in. I mean, they kind of had their own fate in their hands.
That's true.
I mean, it shouldn't have come down to whether or not North Carolina had more quad wins or less wins, or if they would have put a better body of work out there, maybe winning at least, I guarantee if they'd have won at least 2 of the Big 12 conference championship games, they would have been in hands down.
But some people would say, in spite of that, they still had a better resume than UNC. Some people would argue that.
Well, and then the other argument was that the injury to the one player, DeVry's son, I think he's been out.
Yeah.
So that was something that they threw into the mix as well, saying, well, he's out hurt, and that changed the whole dynamic of the team. So I don't know. I mean, it's so complex. There's so many layers to this. It's just been, and then they end up losing. They end up losing their coach to Indiana. So that's another.
Yeah, Hollis, I'm going to ask you this question. In these types of whether it's tournament stuff, all-star stuff, shouldn't every pick, every decision be something that the public should see, should hear, should know?
Like, you should hear the conversation. That's what you mean?
Some form of the conversation, some form of who voted for who.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like it seems like we try to
accountability
for these decisions that people are making, especially when it's judgmental.
Yeah, it's just like the legislature. If you want to, you can see all our votes. You can see exactly how we voted on everything. So, yes, to answer your question, 100%, it should 100% be like that. And I would add to what you're saying, it also should be individuals who are reasonably objective who aren't directly tied to a specific
It's true.
school. So
shouldn't there be
I would
record
answer
of that somewhere? Shouldn't there be record?
It should definitely a record. Like you voted for this team, you voted for that team. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
And to your point, like if there's a record and every time I voted for Marshall,
then you can't be on the committee.
You can't be on the committee.
You're off. You're out.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that there's a reality to that. Of you kind of gotta get folks that are unaffiliated with schools.
Yeah, but even
some schools.
But even to your point, even if you're not unaffiliated, and we can clearly see your voting record, particularly if you've been on this board for 5 years or whatever, we clearly see your pattern of voting. Then we know how you are thinking and moving.
Your leanings.
And to that point, how many times was your team in there and you didn't vote for them? I think that's
true.
Because you if my team ain't in there, I can be good.
Yeah, but and then he tried to say and we're talking about the AD of the Tar Heels. He tried to say that he left the room, and I'm like, bro, you can whip votes. That don't move me.
If I leave the room without thinking that you're gonna vote, when I come back in, I'm like looking at you like cross-eyed. Are we good?
That was in our text conversation. You said he could whip the vote, and I said he's whipping all the way to the bank now with that bonus he got. But that's been a complex. I don't know. There's so many facets to this, and I guess the question now is, do you think Huggy Bear's coming back?
That's a question because WVU's coach went to Indiana. That's a dream job. You can't turn that down.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody can begrudge him for doing that.
I think, but people are.
I don't see how. I mean, he's a Midwest guy.
I think that not just that part of it. I think that they feel like maybe he's had leanings of leaving all season long, and that maybe he redshirted his son, knowing that he's going to be going to Indiana, or I think it was Iowa at one point, right?
Yeah, I think he's from Iowa.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I don't like how all that sounds, but go ahead.
Yeah.
But you gotta go. I mean,
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But
it's like if you get a chance to coach Notre Dame or USC, if you're a football guy, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
But I think that's why the joke on social media has been you got huffed. Sorry, you got huffed because that's what happened at Marshall. Basically, he left for a job that he felt like would be better.
But he didn't have the success of Huff.
No, you're right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Let's face it, bad things happen to good people. Seriously injured in a car accident, trucking accident, or even wrongfully arrested. Life happens, and when it happens to you, you will need sound legal advice and aggressive representation. That's when you call attorney Frank Walker at 304-413-0179. That's 304-413-0179. Lock it in your phone, text it to a friend. 304-413-0179. Or visit online at attorneyfrankwalker.com.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than a life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent. Being there day and night. And building a plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Visit frankwalkerlaw.com. Share your thoughts, ask questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Just search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. And don't forget to like the page to join the conversation. Catch past episodes anytime at WCHSnetwork.com/Let's Talk. And tune in Thursday nights at 7 or Sunday evenings at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Now, back to the conversation.
So I have made it very clear for every opportunity that I've had to be on radio, television, interview, or whatever. I am not a Kirk Cousins fan.
He's a hater. Call it what it is.
Somebody might feel that I am actually a hater. Okay, I don't really want to consider myself a hater, but I seen this on Facebook the other day, and it's the pay that Kirk Cousins has made over his career.
It's amazing.
And they say it is comparable to Tom Brady.
More.
I thought
it's more.
It may be more.
He's got a guarantee in Kirk Cousins' career. I believe it's a guaranteed money. This isn't outside, but it's just guaranteed. Go ahead and read. You got You got it.
So 2012, he had a standard.
Just give us the total.
Well, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you the total. He had a 4-year rookie deal. They didn't specify how much that was. Okay. 2016, $19.9 million fully guaranteed.
Yeah, we're just talking guaranteed money.
Yeah. 2017, $23.9 fully guaranteed. Now, this is from 16 to 17. All right. Yeah. Now, 18, $84 million fully guaranteed. 2020, 66 fully guaranteed. 2022, 35 fully guaranteed.
Unbelievable.
2024, 150 with 100 fully guaranteed.
And he just got $10 million last week.
That's millions of dollars.
What's the total?
Career, $41 million through 2027. 329 of that has been fully guaranteed.
So $329 million, and I think you got to add 10 on to that
He's got he's got an agent. He's got like an Any Given Sunday, Tom Cruise, show me the money agent.
But what's the caveat? What's the caveat to all that?
That Tom Brady.
No. What's the caveat to all that? He won what? How many playoff games?
One.
How many Super Bowls?
None.
How many conference championships?
None. Player of the year? None. Top rated quarterback? No.
He won one playoff game and got a guarantee of 300 plus million.
What in the world? How is this possible? How is it possible?
I want to make it clear.
Please do.
That I played a very long time.
See, that's what he want, back pay. He want back pay.
I played a long time.
That's what he want. He ain't playing no game.
And I'm looking at a dude who can't take his team. Oh, he can't. He's not a.
He's with the Falcons right now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They were looking to move him before the guarantee kicked in, before the bonus kicked in.
Right.
They had to pay him the 10, and I think they're still going to end up trading.
My question is why? What did you see? Film work is a major thing in professional sports. Mm-hmm. Who's not looking at the film? Because,
but I'll tell you this why. Here's why.
Please tell me.
Here's why. Number one, quarterback is an ever increasingly difficult position to play in sports. It is.
I believe you.
And Kirk Cousins is serviceable, and he's a company guy. You're not going to have to worry about Kirk Cousins causing no storm. His teammates love him, and he can be a guy, in spite of whatever he lacks, that can just help you, because he had some winning seasons in there. Again, nothing crazy. And I'm talking regular seasons, but he's a guy who can win some ball games, come in and get you over the hump while you either developing or finding a quarterback.
Well, let me.
And again, when you look at guys like Cam Newton, these aren't good company guys. We could throw Cousins out there. He's going to smile. He's got the family. He's a company man, and that's why he has that. And again, timing has been perfect for him too, because those spots where he had those good seasons, he was able to leverage that for some of them big contracts that you just mentioned.
Leverage it by what?
Winning some regular season games, baby.
I can remember going in. I can remember going in for a contract with Mike Lynn, rest his soul, knowing that this is going to be a difficult thing. Now I got some accolades behind me. And there was not even that had nothing to do with where that had nothing to do with what.
But it's a different time. You can't compare that.
Yes, I can.
You can't.
You ain't let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
You ain't let me finish.
Okay.
And so I understand the reality of what it takes to get to those kinds of money situations.
Yeah.
For me to get to the money that I saw that somebody else was making, that I felt like I wanted to make, you had to perform. And performance for me had to be interceptions, getting all conference stuff, all that kind of stuff. All those things mattered. Okay? And I'm trying to figure out, what are they viewing for Kirk Cousins? Because he's got one playoff win.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been player of the year. He hasn't been quarterback of the year.
I think now they do want to get out of the contract, correct?
For sure.
Because
Yeah,
there's been some controversy. I mean,
how'd you get in it?
Well, I agree. I totally agree. But I don't know how that even. I don't know how it keeps happening.
I told you how they got in it. Again, there's not a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL. Or on the NFL level, I'll say. There's not just a plethora of guys. It's not like you can just go and just find the guy. This ain't that.
For that money, there's a whole lot of guys who are playing somewhere else that's contract is up that you could throw that at, and you throwing it as a guarantee.
And they're going to do probably worse than him.
I don't. How can you say that? Because to me, I don't know.
But he's got you. What I'm saying is, like, we the one playoff win, yes, but he's gotten teams to the playoffs, and I think that's what they're counting. They're looking at, okay, he's putting us in the mix. He ain't winning once we get there, and he's serviceable.
And we've talked about that before. That's part of the resume. If you can just get in the playoffs, it doesn't matter if you win.
Yeah, because it's just not a lot of guys out there who can do this at a high level.
Especially teams like the Falcons. I mean, that's their goal, to make the playoffs, to make a wild card. They're not in the mix a lot. Well, it's been a minute.
So I think Coach taking this personal.
Is he?
Yeah, it's personal.
Maybe.
This is personal.
Maybe because again, I'm trying to think of like a number of quarterbacks that. Well, let's just say this: how can he be close to Tom Brady? How could his money for any reason that you all have made
He's a better agent
for?
He's just got a better agent. I'm telling you.
I'm trying to figure out, like, what are the GMs thinking? What are they? Man. This is the guy.
Because I mean, let's look at his record. Right, he's 2015. He's 9-7 with the Commanders. He was able to leverage that. Then they have
9-7.
9-7.
And you got leverage
with a team who, you got to remember, 2015, the Commanders were an awful franchise with Snyder and all them. Right. So he has a couple more mediocre seasons with Washington, then Minnesota. Then 2019, he's 10-5 with Minnesota. Then 2022, he's 13-4 with Minnesota. So I'm saying,
what year was that with Minnesota?
Of success.
19 and 22.
19 and 22.
So 19. So look at the year after that, probably. So look at
$66 million.
Yeah. So what I'm saying.
So is he 60? Did he improve $66 million guaranteed?
No, the answer is no. And I'm not justifying that, but what I'm saying is, like, he had leverage. He showed some glimmers of hope, and they was like, well, wow, maybe we could do something with that. And he made the playoffs in 2012, in 2015, 2019, and 2022. So he had 4 playoffs seasons.
He's not stellar. He's steady.
He's steady. Steady Freddy.
Yeah.
He's the boy next door. He's the guy you can always count on.
It still blows my mind when you hear the amount, the total amounts. But I think different teams probably don't look at what each other's. I don't know. It's just they don't really look at what they're offering him, I guess, and then it all adds up. Little. I mean, it's not. None of it's little. But I mean, this amount and this amount. When you start looking at it from different aspects and different teams, it adds up to a lot. So I don't know.
He's 1-3 in the playoffs.
Do you think that there's any possibility that maybe the Falcons will just keep him and take a cap hit?
No,
they got parallel. They got the other kid. They got the young kid who came in.
So they'll definitely get rid of him because he's already saying he's not going to attend into the offseason.
But the problem is that they may have to eat that contract. Like I said, they already ate the $10 million, so they may have to eat some more money if they don't get the trade that they want if they're releasing.
And my question really is
who's going to take him?
That's where I'm at.
Somebody gonna take him. He's gonna be a good backup. I think his starting days in the NFL are done.
Oh no.
I think he's done on
because he ain't gonna take. I don't see him taking less money because he's not gonna play.
Bro, it's over. You gonna have to take less money. You ain't getting them bags no more. He already committed halfway.
He doesn't need any more money.
No, he doesn't.
Look, you got to stop while you're ahead. You already done robbed enough teams.
He should ride off into the sunset, to be honest. I mean, he and Aaron Rodgers can get horses together.
I'm glad you brought that up because literally those are like two quarterbacks that really just like, hey, guys,
let's go.
Go get in the booth somewhere and ride off into the sunset and celebrate your career, announcing
They're not
games
made that way, though.
I mean, just to defend Kirk Cousins, I mean, if you even look at his playoff record, right? I mean, it's 1-3, but statistically, I mean, he had a 93 QBR. He has 5 touchdowns to 1 pick in his playoff career. He's 66% passing completion percentage, 1,000 yards. I mean, like I'm saying, I think teams again. This is the problem with stuff like advanced analytics because they look at all this stuff. Yes. They're just not looking at the 1-3. They're looking at, okay, what was his quarterback rating? What was his touchdown interception? They're looking at all these little they're looking at all these little nuanced stats and saying 66 million. Equals 66 million.
Somebody needs to make me a stat sheet.
See, my thing to that is it's like, okay, so you look at all the analytics and you know all the facts, right?
Yeah.
There is no bigger stat than win and loss.
You're right about that, but they consider everything else now.
Not now. Yeah.
They consider all that other stuff. Because they're not just looking at the main thing.
It's like when the combine rolls around. They're looking at all the different, it's not just one.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than a life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent. Being there day and night. And building a plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
An aspect of a player, they analyze the whole athletic package now. It's amazing.
Yeah. But let me ask you that. Do you think the combine is still worth it now? Considering that we got, because back in the day, like when you were gearing up for it, there may have been teams that didn't have a whole bunch of tape on you, right?
Right.
But now, like you could just pull up every single game that's probably been played in the last 10 years. If you're a player, if you're a player, do you even need to if you're All-American, you got proven stats, you got wins and losses, all that. Do you need to even go there?
You had talked about the draft, I think last week, about talking about it, and I don't think we got to it. So that's actually a good way to work through the rest of the show. My problem with the draft is the process, because what's happening now, I can remember, someone calling and telling me hey, there's a scout from such and such, or a regional scout or a team scout. They're going to come work you out after practice today, we could have been done with football, and at whatever time they come in, you had to get down, get on the field, get loose, and run for them. the combine itself, a lot of these top players are not wanting to do it for two reasons. One, they don't think they have to because they've already proven themselves on the field, which I can't argue that. Mm-hmm. And the other side of that is, what if I run a slow 40? What if I have a bad broad jump? What if I have, a bad
just
bench
a bad
press?
day?
Yes. Now all of a sudden your stock drops. And to me, I would like everybody to go through the combine. But I understand that the reality of it is it can hurt you just as much as it can help you.
But
if you're a top guy, why?
But what I'm saying is, like, if you're at Marshall now, let's say you have a 12-pick season, you're All-American, All-Conference, you done all the things, you got all the accolades, and you got size, all that. Like I said, is the thought process now like, man, just turn on the film. Like, I don't have to do all these bench press and all this stuff that it really ain't football related. I don't need to do that. Turn on the film. Judge me against the best competition. Do I need to do all that?
Maybe for those smaller schools that don't have as much media exposure, those guys, they need that opportunity.
Okay,
they need the
I can see
chance.
that.
There's not going to be as much film and media coverage.
Well, but to Hollis, there's going to be film work. I mean,
everybody's going to huddle now.
Everybody's going to have film.
But the competition, I think, was probably what Lisa's talking about.
Right.
The competition.
So to me, I think there's never going to be a space for, let's say, somebody from, let's say, West Virginia State is not going to have to.
Yeah, you're going to have to go there.
You're going to have to go there.
That's exactly what I was
referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to come and somebody who's really interested in you is going to come and work you out and get their information.
And I'm talking like the Notre Dames, the Floridas, Alabama. That's what I'm talking, like those guys.
Yeah.
Do I need to come to and I'm a starter and I got all the accolades and I've done everything?
I think your mindset's going to be like, no, I'm not going to. There's no reason for me to do that. I think the combine is on a downside.
Do you think they'll do away with it?
I don't think that they will because I think that they have to. I just think it's on. When I say downside, the top players are not interested in doing it because everybody wants to see, the top players. How fast are they? Can they run a 4.2, a 4.1? All this kind of crazy numbers. How many times can they bench press? And what's happening even more so is, no one's talking about, the broad jumps or anything other than what? 40.
40 and 225, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's basically it. So even if you cut it to that, I ain't running. I'm going to let you try to figure out do I look fast enough on the film to be your number one draft pick?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like I said, if I'm at a big school and I done played against the best competition in the country and I've shown and proved that I've got statistics to back it up, I've got awards to back it up, I'm just thinking at this point, man, do I need to even do this? Like, is this like Travis Hunter? Is it necessary for him to go to the combine?
Well, I think it depends on what teams want out of the draft. I mean, because basically,
that's a valid point.
Some teams, that are solid in, where they are as far as like, their whole structure, like the Chiefs, so to speak, they're going to be looking at like, the long term. They're not going to be looking for what's available to help positions of need, although they may need offensive line. We talked about that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it depends on what the team needs out of the draft. Is it something that they just want some potential for long term, longevity from a player that looks like they have potential and they can develop that player, or is it something they need immediate help with?
That's true. I know, like the Rams, they didn't even intend to draft. I don't think.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they had like a first, second, third round pick, but I don't think they even sent a scout. So some teams didn't even send anybody.
So let me ask this question. This will be shocked. You'll both be kind of shocked that I'm going to ask this question. Are you going to take Deion's son? Are you going to take, let's just say, Deion's kids?
Sure.
Are you going to take them? Do you feel like you're going to have an issue with Deion if
Daddy ball?
things,
I don't think I would. I don't think you're going to have that issue because I think probably it seems like they both mutually agreed. Like it's time to let go now. The questions I have are just more based into again something that you said. At the beginning of this past football season, is that again when we look at top quarterbacks, they all are quick, fast, and can really run the ball. Not just scramble, but they can run the ball and design run plays. Mm-hmm. Like I said, when we mention those top quarterbacks in the league now who are having this success, and the question is, can you do that? And is your skill set good enough to take us over the hump? Is your skill set currently? Because really, you can't run the ball. We know that's what you can't do. Or is that something that you'll be adding to your game? So that would be my question with him. And again, I think I would have the locker room question. Is he a guy that can, the other guys would follow and lead, stuff like that. But even bigger than those questions, physically, can you do what we need you to do to win?
Because it's different. It's different. It's different no matter who you played against. It's different when you get there.
And he showed he's tough as nails.
Yeah.
You can talk all that arrogant stuff. That kid is tough as nails because he took some blows over the last couple seasons. But can you run that rock? Can we give you a quarterback counter? Yeah. That's my question.
See, I'm gonna say he's gonna think that he can. Now, whether he,
that just comes with immaturity and just from your college days and confidence from that, and he's been successful.
Yes,
so.
but he didn't do that in college. That's what I'm saying. It ain't like he was, doing what Jalen Hurts and him is doing in college. He wasn't like that in college.
He was winning, I think, is the point. I don't know.
I mean, he looks like
if a team feels like they're confident enough in him, in his talents, and what he does have, they can develop the other parts. Is what they would be thinking.
Okay, I could buy that.
I'm gonna say this
because he looks like Dak Prescott to me, except for smaller.
I think my fear that what I hope doesn't happen. Okay, now I'm gonna put that out first. I think he could end up becoming a locker room issue.
I can see that.
Again,
because of Dad, or why? Why do you think that?
He's arrogant.
Is he that arrogant?
Yeah, man.
I think Dad could be
most
part
players
of it.
that are on that
cocky,
platform.
I would say maybe
I think that's
he's brash. I would say that. Yeah.
You can be self-confident in a locker room, but you can't be.
I don't get that vibe.
You can't. It took. Well, let me rephrase that. When we had the big trade and we got Herschel Walker, that locker room never was ever comfortable.
Never recovered.
It never recovered. Why? We lost a ton of players that we were buddies with, and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden now we've traded those guys off, and we've got this one guy, Herschel Walker. Like, dude, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Are you gonna help us on
carry
defense?
The whole team on
you
your
gonna
back.
carry the whole team, and then you're not sociable either. And again, I get it that he's new to the team, so he's kind of walking around trying to figure things out. Who's going to talk to him, who's going to be his buddy. But I feel like this is kind of the Herschel Walker kind of thing, to where all of a sudden you have all of these negative things behind him, because there are going to be some players who are going to automatically think Dad had something in this. I don't think you can beat that. Just say this.
He's shown improve on the field.
Nobody cares about what you showed in college. When you get there, you got to show it. You got to show it in camp. You got to show it in camp.
Okay.
And if he shows it, he'll get the due that he deserves. If he doesn't, that there's going to be a locker room issue.
Do you think he's going to be drafted first or second or even further down?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be down. I can see late round. I could almost see second round a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be top 10.
You don't think so?
I don't either, but I think people are thinking.
I think it'll be Cam Ward.
Yeah, I think Cam Ward will be the first quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm curious of how late he could go.
Yeah.
Or even how early
Yeah, because I think teams now, you just can't afford to blunder up these picks. You have to get guys that can really come in and play. Like, if you're for example, like a Cleveland Browns, you got to get a guy who can come in and contribute today. You don't have time to really develop.
You have to take care of those positions that you are weak in.
And I'm just not, like I said, and it's just outside of everything else, to me, it's just the physical ability. Because I'm not, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but he's a lot like Dak Prescott in that, again, I think he has better accuracy and he has elite ball placement. He doesn't have a strong arm, and he's not immobile, but he's not a runner.
Well, if that's the truth, if that's true, then Jerry Jones is going to snap him right up. He'll be all over that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate your time. We will see you next week.
Let's Talk with Carl Lee is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Visit frankwalkerlaw.com. Share your thoughts, ask questions, or suggest topics on our Facebook page. Just search for Let's Talk with Carl Lee. And don't forget to like the page to join the conversation. Catch past episodes anytime at WCHSnetwork.com/Let's Talk. And tune in Thursday nights at 7 or Sunday evenings at 8 for Let's Talk with Carl Lee.
If you fall, dust it off and get back up on your feet. Anything could be a win, yup, even defeat. They say sugar bad for you, why is victory sweet? Couldn't play with big kids, I had to sit in the street and watch from a distance, but over time I grew. If I put in the work, in no time I'm due. Everything that I worked and prayed, I'm okay. If you ask me, how did I do it, I'm gon' say, you gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work. 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 You gotta work.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than a life policy. It's about the promise and the responsibility that comes with being a new parent. Being there day and night, and building a plan for tomorrow, today. For the ones you'll always look out for, trust Amica Life Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.